What you're about to hear is a story so twisted and heartbreaking, it'll make you question if true love even exists, or if it's all just a fragile illusion waiting to shatter under the weight of hidden lies. This is the true tale of Elias Kane, a hard-working Florida man who thought he had found his forever in a woman who had a double life so dark, it drove him to the edge of madness and beyond. 9 days after uncovering her shocking secrets, Elias snapped in a way that would destroy everything and leave blood on his hands. Before we dive into this gut-wrenching nightmare that exposes the raw pain of betrayal, hit that like button right now if you've ever felt the sting of a broken heart, because stories like this remind us why we need to share them to heal. And subscribe to the channel because missing out on these real-life horrors would be like turning a blind eye to the dangers lurking in our own relationships. The sun beat down relentlessly on the crowded streets of Miami in the summer of 2022, where Elias Kane wiped sweat from his brow as he hauled crates off a delivery truck. At 35 years old, Elias was a simple guy, strong, loyal, with calloused hands from years of manual labor in the shipping yards. He wasn't the type to chase dreams or chase women. He just wanted a steady job, a cold beer after work, and someone to come home to who made the long days worth it. His life had been rough growing up in a small trailer park outside Orlando, with a dad who drank too much and a mom who worked double shifts to keep the lights on. Elias had joined the army right out of high school, serving 2 tours in the Middle East that left him with scars on his body and nightmares in his head. When he got back, he settled in Miami, vowing to build a quiet life away from the chaos. But quiet didn't mean lonely, and that's where Serena Voss came in. No, wait, her name was Serena Hale before she became his wife. Serena was a vision when Elias first spotted her at a beachside bar one Friday night. She was 28, with sun-kissed skin, wavy auburn hair that caught the ocean breeze, and a laugh that cut through the noise like a sweet melody. She worked as a bartender there, mixing drinks with a flair that drew tips and admiring glances from every guy in the place. Elias wasn't one for pickup lines. He just ordered a beer and struck up a conversation about the crazy Florida weather. Serena smiled, her green eyes sparkling, and said she loved the storms because they made everything feel alive. By the end of the night, they were talking like old friends, sharing stories about bad bosses and favorite spots along the coast. Elias felt something click, a warmth he hadn't known since before the war. Serena told him she had moved to Miami from a small town in Georgia, escaping a boring life for the excitement of the city. She dreamed of opening her own little cafe one day, serving coffee and pastries with a view of the waves. Elias opened up about his time in the army, the friends he lost, and how he just wanted peace now. She listened like she really cared, touching his arm gently when he got quiet. That night, Elias walked her to her car, and they exchanged numbers with promises to grab coffee soon. Little did he know, that simple meeting would set off a chain of events that would end in tragedy. Their first date was magic. Elias picked her up in his beat-up pickup truck and took her to a quiet spot on Key Biscayne, where they watched the sunset with takeout tacos and cheap wine. Serena leaned her head on his shoulder, and Elias felt like maybe, just maybe, life was giving him a second chance. She talked about her family back in Georgia. A mom who baked the best pies, a dad who fixed cars, and a younger brother in college. Elias shared more about his deployments, the fear of roadside bombs, and how coming home felt like landing on another planet. Serena wiped a tear from her eye and said he was the bravest man she'd ever met. They kissed under the stars, and Elias knew he was falling hard. Over the next few months, their relationship blossomed like a tropical flower in the Florida heat. Elias would show up at the bar after his shifts, helping her close up and walking her home to her tiny apartment above a surf shop. Serena cooked for him, simple meals like shrimp scampi or grilled cheese with a twist, and they spent weekends exploring hidden beaches or driving up the coast to Orlando for amusement parks. Elias introduced her to his buddies from the shipping yard, guys like Tommy Ruiz, who teased him about finally settling down. Serena charmed them all with her easy smile and quick wit. She even met Elias's mom, who lived in a nursing home nearby, and brought her homemade cookies that made the old woman beam. Everything felt perfect, but if Elias had paid closer attention, he might have noticed the small cracks, the way Serena sometimes glanced at her phone with a worried frown, or how she changed the subject when he asked about old friends from Georgia. But love makes you blind, doesn't it? And Elias was too happy to question the little things. 1 year into dating, Elias knew Serena was the one. He saved up for a modest ring, a simple gold band with a tiny diamond that sparkled like her eyes, and proposed on the same beach where they had their first date. Serena said yes through happy tears, and they planned a small wedding at a local chapel with just close friends and family. Elias's mom walked him down the aisle, proud as could be, and Serena's parents flew in from Georgia, seeming nice enough but a bit distant. The ceremony was beautiful, with vows that promised forever, and a reception at the bar where they met, filled with laughter and dancing. Elias looked at his new wife and thought he had won the lottery. Their honeymoon was a quick trip to the Florida Keys, where they rented a beach bungalow and spent days swimming, making love and dreaming about the future. Serena wanted kids someday, a boy and a girl, and Elias talked about buying a small house in the suburbs, away from the city noise. He got a promotion at work, overseeing a team at the yard, and Serena quit bartending to take classes for her cafe dream. Life was good, or so it seemed. But secrets have a way of bubbling up like poison in the water. Elias started noticing odd things. A late-night text that Serena deleted quickly, or whispers on phone calls she took outside. He brushed it off as stress from her classes, but deep down a seed of doubt planted itself. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a humid afternoon in early 2023, 9 months into their marriage, when Elias came home early from work with a surprise bouquet of flowers. The house was quiet, too quiet, and he heard muffled voices from the bedroom. His heart pounded as he pushed the door open, only to find Serena in bed with another man, Darius Black, a slick real estate agent from downtown Miami, with his shirt off and a smug grin that faded fast. Time froze. Serena's face went pale and she stammered excuses, but Elias's world crumbled. Darius grabbed his clothes and bolted, leaving Serena to face the storm alone. Elias didn't yell at first. He just stood there, flowers dropping to the floor, feeling like he'd been shot in the gut. "How long?" he whispered, his voice breaking. Serena admitted it had been going on for months, starting right after their engagement. Darius was exciting, wealthy, everything Elias wasn't. She said she loved Elias but craved more. The betrayal hit like a hurricane, tearing through Elias's soul. He stormed out, driving aimlessly through the rain-soaked streets, tears mixing with the downpour on his windshield. That night he crashed at Tommy's place, pouring out the pain over beers. Tommy urged him to leave her, but Elias's heart was tangled in love and rage. He went back home the next day hoping for answers, but Serena had packed a bag and left a note saying she needed space. Elias's mind raced with questions. Who was Darius really? How deep did this go? He started digging, checking her phone records he had access to, and discovered texts that revealed more than just an affair. Serena had been lying about her past. She wasn't from a sweet Georgia family. She had a history of scams, bouncing from man to man, using them for money and stability. Darius wasn't her first lover. There were others and whispers of hidden debts, even a fake identity to escape old troubles. Elias felt like a fool, his trust shattered into pieces. For 9 days he spiraled, barely eating, calling in sick to work, stalking Darius's social media, and piecing together the web of lies. Serena tried to call, begging for forgiveness, saying it was a mistake, but Elias's anger grew like a fire he couldn't control. He confronted Darius at his office, fists clenched, but walked away before things turned ugly. The pain ate at him, visions of them together haunting his sleep. On the 9th day something snapped. Elias loaded his old army pistol, the one he kept for protection, and drove to the motel where Serena and Darius were hiding out, thinking they were safe. He kicked in the door, gun in hand, and found them together again. Words flew like bullets, accusations, pleas, screams. In a blur of rage, Elias fired, first at Darius, then at Serena, their bodies slumping as blood pooled on the cheap carpet. He stood there, shaking, realizing what he'd done. Panic set in and he fled, but the police were on him within hours, tipped off by a neighbor's call. The trial was a media circus, Florida Man headlines blasting across the news, painting Elias as a monster. But in court, the story unfolded. The betrayal, the lies, the hidden secrets that pushed a good man to the breaking point. Jurors wept as Elias testified about his love turned to poison. He was convicted of manslaughter, sentenced to 25 years, his life reduced to prison walls. Serena and Darius were gone, their affair ending in death, leaving families broken and questions unanswered. If this tale of love gone horribly wrong is twisting your gut like it is mine, please hit that like button, because ignoring stories like this means ignoring the pain so many endure in silence. And subscribe now or you'll miss the next heartbreaker that could save someone from the same fate. As the dust settled, Elias sat in his cell, replaying the moments that led to that fatal night. He remembered the good times, the beach walks, the shared dreams, and wondered how it all went so wrong. Serena's secrets weren't just about the affair. Digging deeper during the investigation revealed she had a criminal record under a different name, fraud charges from Georgia where she conned an X out of thousands. Darius knew, or at least part of it, and they planned to run off with money from Elias's savings, which she had been siphoning slowly. The police found bank records showing transfers to a joint account, hidden in plain sight. Elias's lawyer argued it was a crime of passion, but the prosecution called it premeditated rage. Friends like Tommy testified to Elias's character, saying he was a stand-up guy pushed too far. Elias's mom visited him in jail, her face lined with grief, begging him to find peace. But peace was hard to come by when betrayal echoed in every quiet moment. The story spread like wildfire, true crime podcasts dissecting every detail, speculating on what could have been different. If Elias had left sooner, if Serena had been honest, if Darius had backed off, but ifs don't change the dead. In Miami, the bar where they met still stands, bartenders whispering about the couple who seemed so happy until they weren't. Elias writes letters from prison, warning others about the dangers of blind trust, his words raw with regret. The hidden secrets that destroyed his life serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us that love can be a beautiful dream or a deadly trap. And as we wrap this part of the story, think about the emotions it stirred in you, the anger, the sadness, the what-ifs. If you're feeling that pull, hit like to honor the real people behind these tragedies, and subscribe because turning away now would be like leaving the truth in the dark. The investigation uncovered even more layers to Serena's deception. Turns out, her Georgia family wasn't real. She had fabricated the whole backstory to seem innocent and relatable. Birth records showed she was born in Atlanta as Lila Monroe, with a history of running from debts and bad relationships. She changed her name to Serena Hale when she moved to Florida, starting fresh but carrying old habits. Darius Black was no saint either, a married man himself with a wife and kids in the suburbs, using his real estate job to charm women on the side. His wife, upon learning of the affair and his death, filed for divorce posthumously, claiming his life insurance. The motel where it all ended was a seedy spot off the highway, chosen for its anonymity, but irony struck when a security camera caught Elias's truck pulling up. The footage was grainy but enough to seal his fate. In the days leading up to the killings, Elias had confided in Tommy about his discoveries, showing him the texts and bank statements. Tommy begged him to go to the police, but Elias was too humiliated, too heartbroken to think straight. He bought a bottle of whiskey and sat in his truck outside Darius's office, watching, waiting, but holding back until that final day. When he burst into the motel room, Serena screamed his name, begging for mercy, saying she still loved him in her twisted way. Darius tried to fight, lunging for the gun, but Elias was faster, stronger from years of labor. The shots rang out, 2 for each, and the room fell silent except for Elias's heavy breathing. He called 911 himself, voice trembling, saying he'd done something terrible. Paramedics arrived too late, both were gone. The arrest was swift, cuffs cold on his wrists as he stared blankly at the ground. In interrogation, Elias spilled everything, the love, the lies, the rage that consumed him. Detectives nodded, having seen it before, but this case hit hard because Elias wasn't a career criminal. He was a broken man. The media frenzy began, reporters camping outside the courthouse, interviewing neighbors who said the Canes seemed like a normal couple. Elias's mom spoke to one outlet, defending her son as a victim of heartbreak. Serena's real family emerged, a distant aunt who confirmed the name change and troubled past. Darius's wife gave tearful interviews, cursing the day he met Serena. The trial lasted weeks, with evidence piling up, texts like "can't wait to leave this loser" from Serena to Darius, and Elias's journal entries of his torment. The jury deliberated for days, torn between sympathy and justice. Manslaughter was the verdict, acknowledging the passion but not excusing the act. Elias's last words in court were an apology to everyone, his voice cracking as he said he never meant to become a killer. Prison life is harsh for a man like Elias. Days blending into nights, regrets his only company. He joined a program for veterans talking about his PTSD, how the betrayal triggered old traumas from the war. Letters from supporters come sometimes, saying his story opened their eyes to toxic relationships. Tommy visits when he can, bringing news from the outside, reminding Elias there's life after this. But the scars run deep, the blood on his hands a permanent stain. Serena and Darius are buried separately, their families mourning what could have been. The motel room was cleaned, but locals say it's cursed, no one stays there long. This story isn't just about murder. It's about how hidden secrets can turn love into lethal weapon. If it's making you reflect on your own life, hit that like button to spread awareness, because pretending these things don't happen is what lets them continue. And subscribe or you'll regret missing the lessons that could protect your heart. As years pass, Elias might get parole, a chance to rebuild, but the pain lingers like Florida's endless humidity. His mom passed away last year, her last wish for him to find forgiveness. Tommy got married, inviting Elias to write a letter for the wedding. The cafe Serena dreamed of never happened, her plans dying with her. Darius's kids grew up without a dad, their mom struggling but strong. The ripple effects of those 9 days touched so many, a reminder that one secret can unleash hell. And if this emotional roller coaster has left you breathless, please like and subscribe. It's the least you can do to honor the truth in a world full of lies. But let's rewind a bit, because to truly understand the storm that brewed in Elias Kane's heart, we have to go back to those 9 days, the ticking clock that turned a heartbroken husband into a man on the edge. Day 1 started with Elias staring at that crumpled note from Serena, her handwriting once so familiar now feeling like a stranger's cruel joke. "I need space to think. I'm sorry, but this is best for both of us." "Sorry?" The word burned in his mind as he crumpled the paper and tossed it across the empty living room. The apartment they shared, a cozy 2-bedroom with ocean views they'd picked out together, now felt like a tomb, every corner whispering memories of her touch, her laugh, her lies. Elias didn't sleep that night. He sat on the couch with a half-empty bottle of bourbon, scrolling through her social media like a detective in one of those late-night shows. Photos of them smiling at the beach, her captioning them, "My forever," made bile rise in his throat. Who was this woman he'd married? By morning, his head throbbed, but his resolve hardened. He called in sick to the yard, telling his boss it was a stomach bug, though the real sickness was twisting inside him. First stop, her phone left behind in her rush to pack. The passcode was their anniversary, ironic he thought as it unlocked a world he never knew. Text to Darius flooded the screen, starting innocent, "Missed you at the bar last night." Then bolder, "Elias is sweet but you're the spark I need." Hundreds of them, timestamps showing late-night meetups while Elias slaved away at work. His hands shook as he forwarded copies to his own email, evidence stacking like bricks on his chest. Curiosity gnawed at him. Why Darius? What made this slick-talking suit so irresistible? Elias drove to the real estate office downtown, parking across the street and watching through tinted windows. Darius Black sauntered in around noon, all pressed shirts and easy charm, shaking hands with clients like he owned the world. Elias gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened, imagining storming in and wiping that smirk off his face. But he held back, heart pounding, and instead followed him to lunch at a fancy bistro Elias could never afford. Hiding behind a newspaper, he overheard snippets, Darius bragging about a hot new fling, to a colleague laughing like it was a game. Fling. That's all Serena was to him? Elias's blood boiled, but he slipped away unnoticed, the seed of obsession taking root. That evening he met Tommy at a dive bar, the kind with sticky floors and neon signs flickering like bad omens. Tommy, his burly friend from the army days, clapped him on the back and slid a beer his way. "You look like hell, brother." "Spill it." Elias did, voice low and ragged, showing the texts on his phone. Tommy's face darkened, fists clenching. "That which played you." Dump her ass, change the locks, move on? But moving on felt impossible. Elias needed answers, needed to know how deep the knife went. Tommy warned him, "Digging deeper's gonna eat you alive, man. Let it go." But Elias couldn't. Day 2 brought more fuel to the fire. He rifled through Serena's side of the closet, finding a hidden shoebox tucked behind her winter coats. Inside, receipts from lingerie shops, hotel keycards from spots he'd never heard of, and a stack of love letters from Darius, penned in loopy script that mocked Elias's plain handwriting. One read, "You're my escape from the boring life he traps you in. Soon we'll be free." Free. The word hit like a slap. What boring life? Theirs had been full of lazy Sundays and shared sunsets. Or had it all been an act? Elias's mind raced to her classes for the cafe, excuses for nights out. Were those dates with Darius? He called her number, left voicemails cracking with hurt. Serena, please. Tell me it's not what I think. Come home. She didn't call back, but a text pinged hours later. I can't face you yet. Give me time. Time for what? To spin more lies? Elias smashed a glass against the wall, shards scattering like his shattered trust. By nightfall, he'd driven to her old Georgia hometown, a 4-hour haul north on I-95, fueled by black coffee and fury. The address from her fake family stories led to a rundown trailer park, weeds choking the yard. Knocking on doors, he flashed a photo of Serena, asking if anyone knew Lila Monroe, the real her. An old neighbor, a chain-smoking woman named Gladys, squinted at the picture. Yeah, that's Lila. Wild girl, always in trouble. Scammed her boyfriend out of rent money, skipped town owing everyone. Good riddance. Elias's stomach dropped. Scam. The word echoed as he sped back south, piecing it together. Serena, no, Lila had a pattern. Men were stepping stones, wallets to fill until the next thrill. Darius fit right in, but why him now? What made Elias the fool this time? Day 3, the secrets cracked wider. Elias hacked into their joint bank app, guilt twisting as he bypassed the shared login, and spotted withdrawals he'd missed. $500 here, $300 there, funneled to an account in Darius's name. Thousands gone, siphoned for their affair, dinners, trips, that damn motel. Rage bubbled, but so did a sick curiosity. Was there more? He tailed Serena that afternoon, spotting her car outside a coffee shop in Coconut Grove. Heart hammering, he waited in the shadows as she emerged, arm linked with Darius, laughing like she used to with him. They climbed into his sleek BMW, heading to a park where they picnicked, oblivious to the broken man watching from afar. Elias snapped photos with his phone, blurry but damning, his breath ragged. How could she look so happy without him? That night, alone again, he confronted his reflection in the bathroom mirror, bags under his eyes, stubble shadowing his jaw. The army vet who'd survived IEDs was crumbling over a cheater. He texted Tommy, found bank stuff. She's been stealing from me. Tommy replied fast, get a lawyer, man. Don't do anything stupid. But stupid was all Elias could think. Day 4 shifted, the air thicker, humidity clinging like guilt. Elias staked out Darius's office again, this time slipping inside during a lunch lull, pretending to browse listings. The receptionist eyed him warily, but he charmed her with a smile that felt foreign. Just curious about properties for my wife and me. The irony choked him. In Darius's desk, left unlocked in his arrogance, Elias found printouts, emails between him and Serena plotting an escape to the Bahamas, using Elias's savings as seed money. One line seared, once we ditch the vet, it's you and me on a beach, no more pretending. Vet. Like he was a dog to be put down. Elias pocketed a photocopy, fleeing before anyone noticed, his mind a whirlwind. Pretending. Their whole marriage? He drove to the beach, the spot of their first kiss, and hurled rocks into the waves, screaming until his voice gave out. Waves crashed back, indifferent, mirroring the turmoil inside. Why hadn't he seen it? The signs were there, her sudden interest in his finances, the way she'd push for joint accounts early on. Love, he'd thought. Trust. What a joke. Day 5, curiosity turned to compulsion. Elias hired a cheap PI from a Yellow Pages ad, a grizzled ex-cop named Harlan. Wait, no, Harlan was off limits. Let's call him Zeke Harlan, but actually Zeke was the name. Zeke met him in a greasy diner, chain-smoking as he flipped through the photos. This ain't pretty, kid. Your wife's got a rap sheet longer than my ex's grudge. Identity theft in Georgia, bounced checks in Tampa. And this black guy's no better. Embezzling from clients, 2 mistresses on the side. Zeke slid over a dossier, Yellowed Pages detailing Serena's trail. Lila in Atlanta, conning a bar owner. Then Tessa in Savannah, dumping a fiancé after draining his IRA. Now Serena in Miami, playing wife while plotting her exit. Darius? Married to a schoolteacher named Mira with twin boys, but he'd burned through affairs like cigarettes. Elias paid Zeke in cash, numb as he read by lamplight. Twin boys. Did Darius plan to leave them too? The parallels hit hard. Elias could have had kids with Serena, a family to call his own. Stolen. All of it. That night, dreams plagued him. Serena's face morphing into a stranger's, laughing as she counted his money. He woke sweating, gun safe in the closet, calling like a siren's song. But he resisted barely. Day 6 brought confrontation. Elias cornered Serena outside the coffee shop, grabbing her arm as she tried to duck away. "We need to talk. Now." Her eyes widened, fear flickering before defiance set in. They sat in his truck, engine idling like his fury. "It's over, Elias. I love him." Simple words delivered like a gut punch. He showed her the bank records, the dossier. "Love? Or just another con? Who are you really, Lila?" She paled, whispering, "How did you?" But then the walls went up. "You were safe, Elias. Steady. But Darius makes me feel alive." Alive. The word ignited something primal. He slammed the dash, yelling, "I gave you everything. And you steal from me? Lie to my face." Tears streamed down her cheeks, but they felt fake now, rehearsed. "I'm sorry. But it's done." She fled, leaving him roaring into the void. Tommy found him later, drunk at the bar. "She's poison, Eli. Walk away." But walking felt like surrender. Day 7 the edge sharpened. Elias followed Darius home, to a tidy suburban house with a minivan in the drive, Mira waving from the porch as Darius kissed her cheek. Hypocrite. Elias parked down the block, watching family dinner through the window. Kids giggling, Darius playing dad. Rage twisted with pity for Mira, oblivious. He imagined telling her, shattering her world like his. But instead, he drove to the motel Zeke mentioned. Seedy El Dorado, neon sign buzzing like a headache. Room 12, Serena's hideout. He peered through curtains, seeing them tangled in sheets, oblivious. Heart fracturing anew, Elias retreated, but not before noting the room number. That night, he cleaned his pistol, oil gleaming on the barrel, whispering justifications to the empty room. Just to scare them. Make them feel the pain. But deep down he knew the line was blurring. Day 8, isolation clawed deeper. Work called, his boss threatening suspension. But Elias ignored it, holding up with whiskey and Zeke's files. More secrets spilled. Serena's abortion years back, hidden from an ex. Darius's DUI cover-up with bribes. Petty crimes, but they painted a picture of moral rot. Elias texted Serena one last time, "Meet me tomorrow, or I go public." Her reply, "You wouldn't." But he would. The plan formed hazy: confront at the motel, demand the money back, end it clean. Tommy pounded on his door that evening, face etched with worry. "Eli, you're scaring me. Hand over the gun. Please." Elias let him in, but the pistol stayed hidden. They talked till dawn, Tommy sharing his own divorce scars. Betrayal don't define you. Don't let it destroy you. Wise words, but too late. The poison had spread. Day 9 dawned sticky, sun mocking the darkness in Elias's soul. He skipped breakfast, stomach knotted, and loaded the clip with steady hands, army training kicking in. The drive to El Dorado felt surreal, palm trees blurring past like judgmental witnesses. Parking lot empty save for Darius's BMW, Elias gripped the wheel, pulse thundering. This was it, the moment to reclaim his dignity or lose everything. He stepped out, gun heavy in his jacket, breath shallow. Room 12's door loomed, faint moans seeping through. Curiosity? No, this was reckoning. He kicked it open, wood splintering, and time slowed. Serena screamed, scrambling for sheets. Darius bolted up, eyes wide. "What the hell?" Elias raised the gun, voice a gravelly roar. "You stole my life." "Please," tumbled, Serena sobbing. "Eli, please, I love you still." Darius lunging. "Put it down, man." Chaos erupted, hands grabbing, words flying. A shot cracked, warning into the wall. Then another, Darius crumpling with a gurgle. Serena's eyes locked on Elias's, terror pure. "Don't." But the trigger pulled again, her body jerking. Silence crashed, blood warm on the carpet. Elias dropped the gun, world spinning, regret flooding like the Everglades after rain. Sirens wailed distant, neighbors' shouts piercing the fog. He stumbled out into the blinding light, hands stained forever. If this slow unraveling of a man's soul is gripping you tighter than Elias's descent, hit that like button now, because sharing these raw truths might just stop another heart from breaking the same way. And subscribe, friend, before the next secret in your own life sneaks up unheard. The aftermath hit like a second bullet. Elias sat on the motel's curb, gun beside him as blue lights flashed closer. Cops swarmed, barking orders, cuffing him rough against the truck. You have the right to remain silent. Words blurred, his mind replaying the shots, the blank stares. At the station, under fluorescent buzz, he confessed in monotone. The affair, the theft, the lies that built to this. Detectives exchanged glances. Another Florida man tale, but this one reeked of genuine agony. Fingerprints, mugshot, the cold cell where walls closed in. News trucks gathered by dawn, headlines screaming, vet snaps, kills cheating wife and lover in motel massacre. Neighbors interviewed, shocked whispers. They seemed so normal. Tommy arrived at visiting hours, face ashen. Why didn't you call me, Eli? I could have helped. Elias pressed palms to glass, voice hollow. Too far gone, Tom. The secrets, they ate me. Bail denied, trial loomed like a guillotine. Public defender, a sharp woman named Lena Torres, built the case. Crime of passion, PTSD trigger, betrayal's toll. Evidence mounted, texts, banks, Zeke's report painting Serena as the villain. But DA countered, premeditated, the 9 days a deliberate simmer. Jury selection dragged, locals biased by tabloid spin. Elias's mom, frail in her wheelchair, testified through tears. My boy came home a hero, gave his heart fully. She crushed it. Gasps rippled, even the judge shifted. Mira Black took the stand, voice steady but eyes red. Darius was flawed, but those boys lost their dad. For what? Revenge. Her words stung, humanizing the enemy. Serena's aunt, unearthed from Georgia, spilled the con artist's bio. Lila always chased easy marks. Elias was just next. Jurors nodded, sympathy tilting. Closing arguments peaked emotional. Lena painting Elias as victim turned tragic. DA as cold killer. Verdict: manslaughter, 20 years with possibility of parole. Gavel fell, Elias sagged, relief bitter as ash. Prison swallowed him. Dade Correctional, concrete jungle where vets like him formed quiet packs. Days blurred. Waits in the yard, group therapy unpacking war ghosts and wife wounds. Letters trickled. Strangers moved by his story, sharing their betrayals. You voiced what I couldn't, one wrote. Tommy smuggled in books, visits thinning as life pulled him away. Elias inked a journal, pages filling with if onlys. If he'd trusted his gut sooner, confronted without the gun, walked into therapy instead of the motel. Regret was his cellmate, whispering what-ifs till lights out. Outside ripples spread. The El Dorado shuttered, room 12 a ghost story for transients. Miami bars buzzed with whispers, men eyeing wives wary. Podcast dissected, was it passion or poison? True crime fans debated online, some vilifying Elias, others excusing. His mom passed mid-sentence, cancer quick. He mourned through bars, her last letter clutched. Forgive yourself, son. You're still my hero. Tommy married a year later, named his first kid Elias in quiet honor. Mira rebuilt, twins thriving, channeling grief into a foundation for affair victims. Serena's alias faded, her cons a footnote in cold case files. Darius's firm collapsed under scandal, clients fleeing the taint. Florida's sun kept rising, indifferent to the blood it baked dry. Elias aged in captivity, grayer, wiser, tattoos mapping his scars. Parole hearing loomed in 5, board reviewing his clean record, therapy logs. Freedom dangled, fragile as trust once was. Would he rebuild? Find love again, scarred but open? Or fade into anonymity, warning tale etched in ink? The secrets that sparked the shots taught hard. Love blinds but truth cuts deeper. Peek behind curtains, question the smiles, before 9 days become your last. And if this dive into darkness has you hugging your loved ones tighter, please smash that like button. It's a small act for the big hurts we all carry. Subscribe too, because the next unraveling waits, and knowledge is the only armor against it. Years ticked by in that gray routine, Elias marking time with push-ups and page-turners, but the core wound festered. Nights replaying Serena's final plea, Darius's lunge, the recoil's kick. Therapy sessions peeled layers. Betrayal reactivated your combat stress, Elias. You fought the enemy you saw. He nodded, but forgiveness eluded, a bird slipping free. Out in the world, his story morphed. Books penned by sleuths, a Lifetime movie whitewashing the mess for drama. Florida Fury, a vet's vengeance, they called it, casting a rugged actor as him airbrushing the grit. Fans wrote, some hateful, monster deserves worse. Others empathetic, praying for your peace. Elias read them all, sorting chaff from grain, learning humanity's split soul. Tommy's visits dwindled to holidays, life pulling, kids' soccer, wife's job, but calls bridged the gap, voices thick with bro code. Miss the old days, Eli. Beers on the pier. Elias chuckled, save me one for when I bust out. Hope flickered then, parole prep grinding. Essays on remorse, victim impact classes where he penned letters never sent. To Serena's aunt, sorry for the pain I added to her chaos. To Mira, your boys deserved better. I robbed them like she robbed me. Unmailed but cathartic ink bleeding lessons. Miami evolved without him. New bars on the strip, old haunt raised for condos. He dreamed of it. Salt air, gulls crying, a fresh start maybe in the Keys, fishing lines cast for redemption. No more blind leaps, eyes wide, heart guarded. The warden, a gruff ex-Marine, pulled him aside one drill. Kane, you've owned it. Boards eat that up. Elias saluted, gratitude swelling. But shadows lingered, flashbacks in chow line, hands trembling at silverware like triggers. Meds dulled edges, group shares built bridges to fellow inmates, stories swapping like contraband cigs. One, a lifer for drugs, said, "Your 9 days? Mine was one bad call. We all got our motels. Wisdom and walls, unexpected. Family ties frayed but held. Myra's foundation cited his case, turning tragedy to talks on spotting red flags. Don't wait for the gun, speakers urged, crowds nodding. Elias's ripple, unwilling but real. As parole neared, nerves jangled, bored faces stern, questions probing, what changed? He spoke steady, me. From reactor to reflector. Betrayal broke me once, won't again. Decision pending, days suspense thick. Approval came telegram dry. Yes, with strings, probation, counseling, no booze. Freedom's gate creaked open, air sweet as first breath. Tommy waited curbside, bear hug crushing. Welcome back, brother. Elias blinked at sun, world vast and vulnerable. First stop, ocean, toes in sand, waves washing 9-day stains. No wife, no lover, just him, scars bared, rebuilding brick by honest brick. Secrets slain, he vowed silence no more, speaking at vets groups, voice raw. Love hard but listen harder. Lies kill slow. Audiences leaned in, eyes wet, his pain their mirror. A quiet girl in back, post-divorce fresh, slipped him her number later. Your story saved me from staying. Spark? Maybe. Or just connection pure. Florida's heat-baked second chances, Elias stepping light, gun long buried. The tale closed not with bangs but whispers, proof that from bloodied carpets rise roots if you dare grow. And if Elias's path from killer to caution has stirred your spirit, hit like to light the way for others lost in their own 9 days. Subscribe because every story shared mends a tear in the fabric we all wear. But even as Elias tasted freedom's salt on his tongue, the ghosts of those 9 days clung like Spanish moss to an old oak, heavy and unshakable. His first weeks out were a haze of small victories and sharp stings, signing for a beat-up apartment in a quiet Key Largo strip, stocking the fridge with basics, nodding polite to neighbors who didn't know his name from the news. Tommy helped haul boxes, cracking jokes to fill the quiet. No motels in this dump, Eli. Just bad cable. Laughter came easy with him, but alone, nights brought the echoes, Serena's gasp, Darius's thud, the copper tang of regret. Elias started small. Morning runs along the pier, feet pounding sand till lungs burned, chasing out the what-ifs. If I'd locked the gun away sooner, he'd mutter to the waves, or trusted Tommy's words. But therapy, mandatory twice weekly, dug deeper. A kind-faced counselor named Dr. Reyes peeling back the army scars intertwined with marital knives. Betrayal isn't just her lie, Elias. It's the mirror to your fears of not being enough. He nodded, scribbling notes, the pen a lifeline to control. Work came next, a dockhand gig at a marina, hauling lines, scrubbing hulls, the ocean's rhythm a bomb. Boss, a weathered captain named Raoul, knew the story from whispers but hired anyway. Past Kane. Pull your weight, your gold. Elias did, muscles aching familiar, earning nods from crew who shared war tales over lunch. Lost buddies, homecoming blues. Camaraderie rebuilt him, brick by salty brick, but curiosity about Serena's shadow world lingered, a itch he scratched in quiet hours. He'd scour old files Zeke sent, updates on loose ends, like the aunt cashing a small inheritance from Serena's estate, or Myra's foundation blooming into seminars, spot the signs, when love hides lies. Elias donated anonymously, a check clipped from first paycheck, his way of atoning without the spotlight. One evening, flipping channels, his movie flickered on, a dramatized retelling, actress with auburn wig sneering lines that twisted his gut. He watched 10 minutes, heart racing, then smashed the remote, screen cracking like his old illusions. "Not like that," he growled to empty air. She laughed real once. The portrayal vilified her fully, glossing his role, but truth was grayer. Her cons born of a rough youth, foster homes and early dropouts, chasing security in wrong arms. Darius too, a boy from broken splits, repeating cycles in boardrooms and bets. Understanding didn't excuse but softened edges, letting sleep come easier. Months blurred, Elias dating casual, a marina waitress named Carla, sweet with freckles and no secrets, but when hands wandered, panic flashed, visions of tangled sheets, not hers. He pulled back gentle, "Not ready, darlin'." Old wounds. She understood, no pressure, just coffee chats that bloomed to friends. Tommy's family grew, little Elias Jr. toddling now, chubby fists waving at visits. "Uncle Eli fixed boat?" the kid lisped, and Elias knelt, promising stories instead, spinning sanitized army yarns of far seas. His mom's grave, a simple stone in Orlando dirt, drew him yearly, flowers laid, whispers of "miss you, ma," trying to make you proud. Grief layered fresh, but so did resolve, no more blind spots. He joined Yvette's circle, sharing raw, "9 days taught me, love's a risk but secrets are the bomb." Men nodded, eyes knowing, bonds forging stronger than steel. Broader ripples touched unexpected shores. A podcaster, true crime buff named Jax Harlan, no relation to Forbidden Echoes, reached out via letter, proposing an interview. Your voice could warn thousands. Elias mulled, stomach nodding, but agreed, studio mic cold, words halting at first. It started with a beer and a smile. Ended in blood. Don't let yours. Airwaves carried it, lines lighting up. Callers venting affairs dodged, hearts mended mid-rage. One woman, "Heard you before I confronted my husband." Walked away clean. Impact hit humble, Elias shrugging it off, but inside light cracked through. Mira crossed paths indirect. A conference invite via foundation, her speaking on resilience. He attended incognito, back row, watching her poise, twins now teens flanking proud. Her close, "Pain forges us if we let it." Applause swelled. Elias slipped out, mailing a note later, "Your strength honors them. Sorry doesn't erase, but it's real." No reply but closure whispered. Florida's underbelly churned on, similar headlines, jilted lovers lashing, secrets spilling fatal. Elias clipped them, a grim scrapbook, vowing his tale a detour, not destiny. Carla faded to group hangs, but sparks flew elsewhere. A librarian at story hour, soft-spoken Lena with eyes like calm bays. Coffee turned walks, talks deep, no rush, just truths shared slow. "My ex hid debts," she confessed. "Learned to ask early." Elias smiled faint, "Mine hid everything. Now I listen loud." Trust rebuilt tentative, a sapling in storm soil. Parole strings tugged, check-ins no bars, but Elias thrived, saving stacking for a skiff, dreams of guiding charters dawning. Raoul promoted him lead hand, crew toasting, Kane's comeback king. Nights, journal filled, gratitude lists, fears named, progress traced. The 9 days? Scar tissue now, tough but flexible. Serena's laugh echoed fond sometimes, a lesson not curse. Darius's lunge, a reminder of unchecked fire. From killer to caution, Elias walked lighter, sun on face, horizon wide. Secrets slain, he breathed free, proof hearts heal if cracked open honest. And if this quiet rise from ashes tugs at your own hidden hurts, please hit that like button. It's fuel for the fighters still in the dark. Subscribe too, because skipping these rebirths means missing the hope that pulls us through. 1 year free, Elias launched the skiff, Redemption. Charters for vets, half price, waves therapy free. Bookings swelled, stories swapped on decks. Betrayals bared, guns surrendered symbolic. A client, fresh divorce, hooked a snapper, grinning, first win in months. Elias clapped back, plenty more bites. Life looped gentle, cycles broken. Tommy's wedding vow renewal, Elias best man, word steady, to seeing clear, loving fierce. Rings exchanged, cheers rose, Elias teared whole. Lena by side, hand warm, maybe more times tied. Florida wild still, but Elias tamed his storm, beacon now for wanderers. The end? Not tragedy but testament. From 9 days hell, dawn breaks if you row toward it. But as Elias's skiff cut through glassy bays, hauling laughter from healed souls, the undercurrents of his past still tugged, subtle rips that could yank a man under if he wasn't vigilant. Morning started steady, coffee black as regrets, journal open to tally graces. Lena's text from last night, a snapper's fight yesterday, parole officer's nod at check-in. Your model Kane. Keep it. But models cracked too, and Elias's did one dawn when a news alert pinged. Florida man echo, jilted husband spares wife in motel standoff. Details mirrored his nightmare. Affair uncovered, gun drawn, but the man walked away calling cops on himself. Elias's chest tightened, old shots echoing in his ears. He messaged the reporter, anonymous tip. Tell him, 9 days is a warning, not a sentence. Choose the peer over the trigger. No reply, but the story shifted next day, quoting a survivor's voice. Ripple again, his quiet push altering tides. Lena noticed the shadow at their next walk, her hand slipping into his, warm, questioning. Rough morning? Elias paused by a mangrove tangle, words spilling slow, echoes. Like seeing my ghost in someone else. She squeezed, no pity, just presence. Ghosts fade when you name him. That night, over grilled snapper at her place. A cozy bungalow with bookshelves groaning and cats curling lazy, they talked deep, barriers crumbling. Lena shared her scars, ex's lies unraveling their farm dream, debts hidden till foreclosure knocked. I rebuilt slow like you. No rush for perfect. Elias leaned in, her scent, lavender soft, stirring safe sparks. Their first kiss came natural, under porch light, tentative then true. No motel haste, just promise whispered, eyes open always. Trust rebuilt wasn't flawless, but real, dates on the water, her sketching waves while he reeled lines, laughter bridging gaps. Tommy grilled him at a backyard barbecue, ribs smoking, kids chasing fireflies. She's a keeper, Eli. Don't screw it with what-ifs. Elias clinked bottles, learning not to. 1 day at a time. But Florida's wild heart tested resolve. A hurricane season squall hit hard, winds howling like Serena's pleas, flooding the marina. Elias worked frantic, tying down boats, Raoul barking orders till lightning cracked close. In the chaos, a loose line snapped free, whipping wild. Elias dove, pinning it down, arm gashed bloody. Stitches later, Raoul clapped his shoulder. Hero stuff, Kane? Like old times? Elias winced, bandage stark. Different war now. Worth the fight. The storm passed, sun mocking wreckage, but crew rallied. Clean-up barbecues, beers shared salty. Bonds thickened, Zeke dropping by unannounced one eve, dossier tucked under arm. Loose-end kid. Serena's aunt sold her story to a rag, twisting you as the mark she almost hooked full. Elias scanned pages, gut twisting at fabrications. Him painted weak, her the bold escapee. Rage flickered, old fire, but Lena's voice echoed, name it. He drafted a response, public but poised, op-ed to a local paper. Secrets don't just hurt, they kill. Here's how I survived. Words poured. The affair's sting, 9 days spiral, prisons forge. Published front page, letters flooded, hate mail scorched but more light. Wives leaving toxic ties, husbands seeking help. One vet, your words stopped my hand on the drawer. Thank you. Impact swelled humble, Elias framing the clipping beside his mom's photo, a quiet altar to turning pain outward. Holidays crept, first free ones bittersweet, Thanksgiving at Tommy's table groaning turkey and tails, Lena fitting seamless, carving pie with a wink. Christmas he gifted her a locket, for truths we keep close, not hidden. She teared, slipping in a photo, them on the skiff, windswept free. New Year's Eve, pier fireworks blooming, Elias pulled her close, to fresh pages. Kiss sealed it, year 0 reborn. But shadows stirred deeper, a parole violation scare when an ex-inmate pal, fresh out, crashed his couch drunk, spilling bar fights. Officer visit stern, one slip, Kane you're back. Heart hammered, but Elias owned it, evicted the guy gentle, doubled therapy. Dr. Reyes nodded, growths in the stumble, not perfection. Spring bloom charters busy, redemption booked solid, vets fishing therapy, stories surfacing with catches. Wife's cheating note found last week. Walked away thanks to your pod. Elias guided soft. Proud of you. Piers always there. Lena joined one trip, Rod awkward but grin wide, hooking her first grouper. Look what honesty reels. Laughter rippled, crew cheering. Later, alone on deck, she murmured, love this you, scarred steady. Proposal whispered months later, not grand but true. Dinner on the boat, ring simple silver. No secrets, Lena. All in. Yes came fierce hug bone deep. Wedding small, beachside. Tommy best man, Raoul officiating salty vows. In storms and calm, hold fast. Rings exchanged to gull cries. Cake shared with sand grit sweet. Honeymoon keys hop, bungalows swaying, nights tender. No ghosts just now. Life layered fuller. Lena's sketches sold local, gallery whispers. Elias's talks booked, foundation ties with Myra's group, her email thaw. Heard your piece. Respect the work. Peace to us both. Closure clicked, chains lightning. Twins visited once, awkward but open. Teens curious. Dad messed up too, huh? Elias nodded honest. We all do. Keys rising. They fished quiet, bonds tentative seeds. A year wed, baby news dropped. Lena's glow, Elias's hand on her belly, our fresh start. Ultrasounds blurred teary kicks like hope punches. Florida's heat cradled it, palms nodding approval. But the 9 days? Etched teacher, not tyrant. Reminders in quiet. Check-ins loving, no blinds drawn hasty. Elias's journal closed a chapter. From blood to bloom. Grateful. The tale that started in betrayal's blaze ended in dawn's steady glow. Proof one man's unravel can reweave another's map. Secret slain he rode on or sure horizon kind. And if this arc from abyss to anchor has anchored something in you, hit that like button gentle. It's a nod to the quiet warriors winning their wars. Subscribe because every heartbeat in these tales beats back the silence that lets secrets fester unchecked. But even as Elias and Lena's world swelled with the promise of new life, a tiny heartbeat fluttering on scans like Morse code for hope, the fragile piece he'd carved from wreckage tested it seems one last, unforeseen time. It started subtle, a ripple in the calm bay of their days, a letter arriving unmarked, postmarked from Georgia, the envelope's creases worn like old regrets. Elias slid it open over breakfast, Lena humming as she plated eggs, their bungalow windows framing palms swaying lazy in the breeze. Inside, faded news clippings yellowed with age, headlines from Serena's past life as Lila, cons chronicled in small-town rags, woman flees with lover's savings, identity switch foils debt collectors. No note, just the stack, anonymous as a ghost's whisper. Elias's fork paused mid-air, color draining from his face. What is this? Lena leaned over, scanning quick, her hand finding his knee under the table, steady anchor. Someone stirring old mud. Who'd send this now? Curiosity clawed immediate, sharp as barnacles. Not Zeke who'd closed files years back. Not Tommy who'd burned his copies in a backyard blaze. A final jab from the shadows? Or warning like the motel echo? Elias pocketed the clippings, forcing a smile for Lena's worry. Dust from the grave. Won't let it settle here. But it did, dusting his thoughts through charter runs, where waves slapped hulls like unanswered questions. Who knew? Serena's aunt, long silent after the op-ed truce? Or Darius's kin, Myra's foundation thriving but perhaps harboring grudge? Days blurred probe light. Elias drove north again, I-95 a ribbon of what-ifs, stopping at that trailer park ghost town, weeds taller now, air thick with cicada hum. Gladys, the chain-smoker neighbor, still there, porch sagging, eyes sharper than memory. Back for more on Lila? Folks, round here whisper you oft her good. Elias swallowed bile, voice even, not why. Who'd dig her dirt now? She lit up slow, smoke curling prophetic. Heard from a cousin last week, Lila had a half-sister tucked away in Atlanta. Never met her but blood calls blood. Maybe she found your name in the fuss. Half-sister. The word landed like a lure in still water, pulling Elias deeper. He thanked Gladys terse, peeling out for the city, phone mapping an address from faded obits. Curiosity burned hotter than caution. Family secrets layered on his own? Atlanta sprawled humid, traffic snarling like veins, Elias navigating to a nondescript walk-up in a fading district, peeling paint, laundry lines sagging with ghosts. Knocking echoed hollow, door cracked on a chain, revealing a woman mid-30s, sharp-featured echo of Serena, same auburn hints and cropped hair, green eyes wary but piercing. Jade Monroe? Elias ventured, clipping in hand as proof. She unchained slow, gesturing in, knew you'd come sniffing eventually. Coffee? The apartment cramped but lived in, books stacked military, a toddler's toys scattered like minefields. Jade poured mugs black, settling cross-legged on a threadbare couch. No warmth but no venom. Lila was my half-sis, same deadbeat dad, different moms. She wrote once, post-con bragging, about her Miami glow-up. Then nothing. Till the news hit, you the gun, the end. Elias gripped mug scalding, words tumbling honest, didn't plan it. 9 days of hell, lies piling like sandbags. Jade nodded, unsurprised, knew her patterns. Conned me once, small, borrowed for rent, vanished with my earrings. But family? We forgive stupid. Curiosity flipped to confession then, Jade spilling unprompted. Serena, Lila, had stashed more than money, a safety deposit box in Savannah, key hidden in her motel effects, contents unknown but hinted in letters. For the kid we never had, scrawled cryptic. Elias's pulse skipped. Kid? No abortion echo, but whispers of a lost pregnancy with an earlier mark. Jade slid a photocopy. Lila's will, hasty scribble naming her half-sis beneficiary, box details tucked. Cops cleared it years back but I never claimed. Too raw. Figured you'd want closure. Closure? Or Pandora's lock? Elias drove south that night, storm clouds brewing mirror to his churn, key burning pocket like contraband. Lena waited porchlit, arms open. Find what you needed? He spilled it all, sister box ghosts rising. She held him fierce. We face it together. No solos. Next dawn, Savannah's bank loomed granite solid, teller neutral as she fetched the box. Dusty, unopened since 23. Inside, faded photos of a younger Lila, grinning gap-toothed with a boy not much older, arms slung casual. Darius? No earlier flame, face blurred but smile same. Letters bundled, her script looping. Dreams of escape, apologies half-formed to unborn shadows. A locket, cheap gold, engraved for our maybe. Empty chain, no photo but weight heavy as unspoken grief. No cash, no bombs, just echoes of a woman chasing light in wrong alleys, secrets her shield till they pierced her. Elias pocketed the locket gentle, tears pricking unbidden. She was broken too. Didn't see it then. Back home he shared with Jade via call, tentative bridge. Box was hers but heart's mine now. She softened, come visit sometime. Nephewed like an uncle who fishes. Family fractured but forming, ripples reversing. The find settled something deep, like ballast in stormy seas. Elias's charters gained a ritual, post-trip, locket shown to clients who bared scars. This was hers. Proof we all hide till we can't. Stories flowed freer then, catharsis collective, redemption, not just name but vow. Lena's belly rounded fuller, kicks insistent, nursery painted soft blue, boy or girl, name TBD but love locked. Wedding anniversary hit beach blaze, bonfire crackling as they danced slow, waves applauding, 1 year true, Elias murmured, her head on his chest. And counting, no blinds. But Florida's pulse quickened test one final eve, a call from Mira, voice edged but open. Conference next month. Your talk's keynote. Twins want to meet, the man who didn't let hate win. Elias froze, receiver slick. You sure? Her pause pregnant. They read your op-ed, said Dad'd be proud of the lesson if not the man. Acceptance, jagged but real, hate's embers cooled to coal. He spoke that night, hall-packed, words steady. 9 days taught me, secrets aren't just lies, they're silences that scream. Break 'em early or they break you. Applause thundered, twins in front row nodding solemn, handshakes after warm. Mira lingered last, closure's a gift you gave back. Thanks. Hug brief but healing, enemies to echoes, pain to bridge. Life crested then, baby arriving squall strong. A girl, Elena Kane, wailing fierce like her dad's old storms, but eyes calm as Lena's bays. Elias held her tiny, wonderstruck. Welcome, little one. No secrets here, just us. Nursery nights, blurred feedings and whispers. Elias rocking as Lena slept, locket dangling gentle. Aunt Lila's chain, but your story's new. Tommy's crew crashed baptism. Waveside simple, Raoul splashing holy water salty, to fresh catches. Laughter lapped, family woven wider. Jade flying down once, awkward auntie cooing over niece, half-sis bond tentative but true. Years skipped light. Elena toddling decks, rod too big but grip sure. Charter's legend local, Elias's tale textbook in Myra seminars. From motel to mentor. Lena's art bloomed gallery bright, sketches of scarred sails selling swift. Elias grade graceful, journal thick as Bible. From blood's blur to this, grateful graft. The 9 days? Faint scar now, teacher turned talisman, reminder in quiet. Love asks questions, answers build walls or windows. Florida's sun dipped forgiving, horizons endless. Elias rowing steady, or even heart full. Secrets slain silent, he breathed legacy. Proof betrayals bite yields, if you spit the venom and swallow grace. One dusk, skiff idling calm, Elena 3 now pointing gulls. Daddy, why stories make you sad happy? Elias knelt eye level, wind tousling her curls. 'Cause they show us, even storms pass and rainbows chase. She grinned gap-toothed, echo pure, and he knew, cycle broken, dawn his dawn. The tale that ignited in humid hurt, motel shots and 9-day blaze, closed not in ashes but embers warm. A man's fall, rise and reach, beacon for the blind-hearted still stumbling. Love's not flawless but fierce when forged honest. Secrets? Best buried before they bury you. And if this full circle from carnage to cradle has cradled your own weary soul, please hit that like button one last time. It's the echo that says you see, you feel, you fight on. Subscribe now, because in a world whispering lies, these truths shout back. You're not alone and healing's just a story away. Together we turn tragedies to torches, lighting paths no one walks dark. Thank you for journeying this far. Stay curious, stay kind, and remember, the heart's strongest when scarred, not shattered. Fade to waves, gentle roll.